All right, so hello everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning for, I would say, a dose of inspiration and as part of the celebration of the end of our Lab for Change Summer Edition, which is the second, the Shabab Lab program that we conduct for 2021. We are really pleased to have the two gorgeous guest speakers with us this morning to inspire our participating youth and everybody who's watching us now or will be watching us later in the recording, in order to talk more about the role of youth in social change. I will be introducing our guest speakers shortly, but I would like to start off by telling you more about the Lab for Change Summer Edition that took place in August 2021. So basically, Shabab Lab, as you may know, is an e-learning platform that was designed in order to shape and empower the youth to become the leaders of the 21st century. What we do through Shabab Lab is really equip the participants on the platform with all the needed skills for the future of jobs and for 21st century, with a special emphasis on social innovation and social entrepreneurship, which are very much needed in our Arab world. But unfortunately, the emphasis or focus on those skills is still not at the level that it should be. So we are really proud that as Shabab Lab and as the Riyadh for Social Innovation, which is the mother company, we are being thought leaders on this topic in the Arab world, and we are really making a difference in the lives of the youth that participate in these programs. They don't just gain skills, they actually change mindsets, they become the next wave of social entrepreneurs, and most importantly, they become change makers in their own societies. And you're gonna see from today's celebration event that several of our youth are already very active in their communities, and mind you, they are still at the high school level. So with that, I would really like to start off by mentioning a few statistics about the program that we had. So it's really important for us to always keep monitoring our progress, evaluate our programs, and see if they are up to the level of what we have in mind. And this is why we always have these pre, mid, and post assessments in any program that we do. And we, of course, thank our participants for their patience in taking all these evaluation surveys, and also in responding to our requests and getting their testimonials and their qualitative feedback that we very much value as well. So I will share with you quickly a few statistics from the program. Again, this is the Web for Change summer program, where the students were exposed to design thinking, social innovation, entrepreneurship, market research, web development. And what they had to do is a project where they apply everything they learned in order to create a web page or a web application that can solve a problem related to the environment. So in this program, we focused on the environmental sustainable development goals. We always use the UN 2030 agenda in all our programs as a framework for social change. And in this particular program, the youth had to pick an environmental issue and to come up with a web-based solution for it, and to pitch it by the end of the program as a business, as a sustainable social enterprise. I would like to give a few shout outs to the mentors that helped us in the program, following up on the students' progress and deliverables and submissions. And I would like to also thank the judges who helped us in evaluating the final pitches, Nada and basically Sara Abu Ibrahim. So thank you for that. Also for the mentors, we had Jad Abu Ibrahim, Jana Sabra, Wasim Mroui. We also had Aya Yusuf and Muhammad. So thank you so much all. And thank you Yasmin as well and Sabine for helping out with this program. So as you can see, we always have a high satisfaction rate in our programs, and this is something that we are really proud of. And it gives us assurance that we're on the right track of delivering a quality education material for the students that satisfies their needs in this 21st century. We are very happy that 97% of our students said that they have learned something new, and this is exactly what we want. We like always get away from the traditional material that they learn in school or in the community, and always want to give them something that they haven't been exposed to, but still it's super important for them to know about in this era. 100% of our students recommend our programs for other people. So this is always a great indication that, again, we are up to something meaningful and beneficial. Basically, 92% said that thanks to the program, they started thinking more about how they can contribute to their community through social innovation. And again, this is a primary goal for us, because it's all about social innovation and community change. We are really happy to see that these programs resonate with them, and not just make them learn something new, but make them think of how they can contribute to their community and society in making this needed change. So basically, we ask all the participants to work in teams in the summer, because they were coming from different countries and from different backgrounds. They had to like form their own teams with people they did not know before. And of course, you know that in Lebanon, we were facing a lot of electricity and internet issues. So also this has affected somehow the team dynamic or teamwork, but still, I mean, nevertheless, with all of these challenges, 81% of the students said that they enjoyed this team experience. And again, for us, this is one of the 21st century skills that we are providing through the programs, because we know that in the future, they will have to work with people from different backgrounds, from different countries online. So this is a start, guys. Even if you had challenges, that's okay. It will give you good experience for later on. Also, 94% said that thanks to this program, they can see problems as opportunities. And this is, again, one of the main things we work on. We all know how many problems we face in developing countries and in this part of the Arab world. And these problems are sometimes much bigger than us to solve. Like, we call them wicked problems. However, our programs work hard on making the youth see these problems as opportunities, and to stop this feeling of like helplessness or I can't do anything about it. By choosing a very narrow and specific problem, they can actually do a real contribution to the society, and they don't have to change everything. We don't have to change the entire world, but if we do a change on a local level, this will actually have a ripple effect on the bigger levels. So we are really glad that they could see that, and they could really feel that they have this ability to make change. Thanks to this program, I have more confidence that I can positively change the world. 92% said yes. Also, as I mentioned, in this program, they learned web development. So we worked also on their technical skills, and 75% said that they now can create their own website, which is really, really good for us. Also, 86% said that they can now easily transform an idea they have into a startup, which is also another major goal we work on, is to have this entrepreneurial mindset and entrepreneurial readiness, so that in the future, when they want to really create a startup, they can. And surprisingly, a few of our projects are still pursuing their ideas. They have created social media accounts, they are tagging us, they are like really doing a great job. And again, this is beyond our expectations, and we are really happy to see that happen. So 50% said that they intend to continue working in their social innovation project. Again, I want to make it clear here that this is honestly not our goal. Our goal is mostly awareness, changing mindsets, job readiness, skills, like upskilling, but this is a plus for us. So this is not something that is a primary focus, but it's always a plus. And yes, we do measure it, because it also gives an indication that these programs are not just educational, but they are life-changing. So 50% of the youth said they want to continue working on these projects, although, as I mentioned, they're still at the high school level. Also, 78% said they are interested in participating in similar programs outside Shabab Lab. This is really good for us because, again, guys, you know that social innovation and entrepreneurship is a journey. It's not one program. So we urge everyone to continue participating in similar programs because this is how you build your acumen of knowledge and of experience. And hopefully in one of these programs, I'm sure you will find this great idea that will give you all like the passion and all the drive to actually make it happen. And this is what we want to see. And I want to remind everyone, like whatever you do, guys, please like keep us in the loop, tag us on you know, Instagram or other social media, and we would be proud to share your news. So we always like to share the news and success stories of our alumni. When it comes to general evaluation, so as you can see here, we have the pre and the post assessments. You can see how really the way that the students rated their confidence and knowledge in certain skills such as social innovation, entrepreneurship, business planning, prototyping, and pitching. They have really improved from 3 and around 2 to 4.5. So we are really happy from this, from these results. And this is the last slide I'm going to show you. It also shows between the pre and mid assessment. So even at the middle of the program, there has been a significant improvement in terms of their skills. So this is it. I hope now that our speakers have a good idea of what went on in our programs. And now what I really want to do is to introduce our first speaker. Okay, 1 second. So we're really happy to have Sara Shatila with us today. I happened to know Sara when she was still at AUB. And maybe, Sara, you're going to hear this for the first time, but I could really see from the very beginning how passionate and dedicated you were to making a difference, to being part of you know, the community, and putting all your heart in the community efforts and projects that you were part of when you were still even a student at university. And it wasn't a surprise really later on. I mean, we connected, you know, via Facebook, and I was like sort of like, and always knowing what Sara was up to. It wasn't a surprise for me to see how she was really climbing the ladder quickly, how she was becoming an influential young SDG leader, and how she was doing a lot of mentorship, a lot of activity. And recently, she even joined the United Nations in the UAE. So for me, this is why I asked Sara to be a speaker today, because she resembles, for like Shabab Lab, the ideal, let's say, young person who's super active and passionate, and who doesn't just want to make change, but they actually have a career path that aligns with this passion and with this vision. And honestly, this could be the best thing anyone would do, like to have their career aligned with their passion and what makes them feel satisfied and what makes the world a better place. So Sara is a young SDG leader and a peace builder. She is currently working as the Communications and Advocacy Officer with the United Nations Representative Office in the UAE. She also trains youth and mentors social startups across MENA and Africa, focusing on impact technology and social innovation. She also dedicates her time advocating for the economic empowerment of youth and women, peace and security. Earlier this year, she has been selected by UN Women as a young leader in the Gender Innovation Agora and Young Women Peacebuilders programs for the Arab states. I'm really happy, Sara, to have you with us today, and I will leave the floor to you.
A pleasure. Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much, Mona. I mean, these words, it's very touching to hear, and it really means a lot. So I truly appreciate that. And I really appreciate, thank you again for the opportunity for being here today, for inviting me to speak with the youth. It's always been a great passion for me. I am youth, but I've always worked with youth, and I'm a true believer of what young people are capable of achieving. So thank you again for the opportunity, and congratulations on the successful celebration of the summer cohort. I mean, the results are really truly, they represent the impact that you have been striving for, and it really shows that, you know, with such opportunities and learnings, why they're needed in our region, and why, you know, they're very crucial for our youth. I'm here just to, you know, share with you a bit of my story, maybe my experience, and hopefully it could inspire some of you. But I would also love to hear from you, and, you know, get any questions that you would like to address. So I actually started, thanks to Mona for the great introduction. I see a lot of you are still in high school, and I see myself in that. It reminds me when I was in high school, I was always taking part in all these programs and volunteering, and it really has been the reason of why I got all the opportunities I was able to get along the way. I started volunteering since I was in school. I was taking every opportunity that comes my way to learn, to grow, meet people. In university, I got into an international organization for youth development and leadership exchange. We used to travel and also get participants and students from all over the world to come to Lebanon to volunteer, and we used to plan and do volunteering programs with refugees, for education, for young students in Lebanon, and so on. And at that time, this is where I got an award with my first real job later, which was with MBC Group, and we got the young. It was an outstanding award for good, young people that are doing good. It was doing good competition. And from that, we maintained a relationship with them, and then I was asked to do an internship. It was an unpaid internship in Dubai. But I went for it. I graduated, and I had two choices: either to start applying for jobs that perhaps wouldn't have been really something I truly believed in, or something it really meant for me, or to just go for something that has been really a passion for me and go for taking that risk of, you know, trying to financially sustain myself, but at the same time see the rewarding experience that I would get out of it. So I did that, and afterwards I came back to Lebanon. I was always taking up opportunities. I did some freelancing projects. I did some work as well with, you know, into like a hackathon, participating in hackathons before I even knew what a hackathon meant. And where, you know, we developed, I remember, solutions for refugees. It was in collaboration with UNHCR and multiple UN agencies, and also I remember when I met with Mona and we got into an accelerator program and all of that. And this wasn't really something I majored in. I did landscape architecture in university, and I was always also very interested in this major and in this field and so on. But the job field was not fulfilling enough for me, because I was always passionate about social innovation, sustainable development. My projects were always on the participatory approach of creating public spaces for the communities and so on. So I was trying to look for such opportunities by freelancing, by doing some projects, but I really wasn't able to get the right opportunity that would get me this such experience. But because I was so active in during university and in school with building up a lot of my skills and also meeting with networking with people, I got to be to get the opportunity that I was able to get with corporate social responsibility at MBC, which was Media for Social Impact. So it was really about, basically from that experience, it's really sometimes you can go for what you would, let's say you think this is it, you have a path in mind, But sometimes when you go for experiences that you're just following your heart, you're following your passion, everything aligns for you and the path just kind of opens up. So years later, and after working with MBC, and we worked a lot with youth and sustainable development goals on entrepreneurship and so on. I also, and now I recently joined the United Nations and working in communications and advocacy. And you know, it's always been working with the youth, mentoring the youth, and because of such experiences that I got, I was able to lead on projects within entrepreneurship or, you know, with skills building, communication, and so on. You can always, by being proactive, sometimes, you know, you can, it's always a doubt of whether it's how do you financially sustain? You know, we have career paths or maybe aspirations that we want to graduate and get a job and work and get paid and so on. But believe me, like a lot of times I would also see people, like really senior people, that still have no idea, they still don't know what they're doing, and they really don't have a purpose. And it just makes me think and evaluate our choices that we do each and every day, you know, by going out, taking on experiences, meeting people, volunteering. It's not always looking for, you know, just a fixed 9-to-5 job or whatever, but really such opportunities like Shabab Lab and such training programs. These are the ones that would give you the fulfillment, the learning experiences that are way more valuable, that would really create a competitive profile for you, and when you get to the job market, you're sought after, and it shows, and that you're actually capable of doing things in a different way, because it's a mindset shift. And like when I was saying, it's all about shifting the mindset. It's about being aware and being conscious and being proactive, and all of those striving for such opportunities. It always reflects, and it reflects positively. The other thing is, and with such opportunities, I know, you know, it's all about aligning what you do with what you're good at, but at the same time, what does the world need? You know, it's always a matter of reminding ourselves, how can we contribute to our societies by doing what we do? So if a lot of people sometimes would come to me like, you know, it's very interesting what you do. I want to volunteer. I want to do it, but I don't do that in my job. I don't know where to start or how to, you know, I can't shift careers and work in sustainable development and so on. But my answer is always, you can always contribute to the society with whatever skills you have. You don't have to, it's not a career path to be in social impact. Social impact is actually embedded in every single thing that we do. It's embedded in business, it's embedded in entrepreneurship, it's embedded in our daily lives. We have to. It's a responsibility that we all have. So it's really not a career decision, but rather in every field that we do, we're capable of achieving social impact. As entrepreneurs, you know, if we're actually building and creating solutions for different challenges, this is social impact. How are we doing it in the most efficient, sustainable, inclusive way possible? How are we changing the lives of the people, of our customers, of you know, the people that we're actually working with, of our own employees? So to be entrepreneurs and to build a startup, it has to be a social startup. There is no other alternative, because if we're just going for organizations or charity work, we all know how this is, you know, this can be unsustainable. And now we're shifting into becoming, you know, doing the social innovation, because with organizations, and we're doing the great work that NGOs do and the charity work that is being done, but they always rely on fundraising. And they sometimes, you know, we all know that a lot of great programs and really like valuable programs that touch the lives and change the lives of beneficiaries sometimes get cut off just because of lack of funding. And so this shows us, you know, how much we need to build sustainable solutions for us to be able to effectively run such programs. And at the same time, with entrepreneurs, I mean, I used to run some programs also with Shabab 2030. It was an entrepreneurship program tackling the sustainable development goals. And part of the program was to go and do a roadshow across the region to talk about the Sustainable Development Goals and talk to entrepreneurs about what it means to have a social startup. And believe it or not, almost all of them were addressing the sustainable goals, but they just didn't know about it. I mean, building a platform for Arab coding that is targeted for young girls and employs also young people, that's ticking the boxes of quality education, gender equality, economic empowerment and development. So it's like 3 different SDGs in one startup. So such conversations are really important, because once we start talking about the Sustainable Development Goals and seeing how is it relevant in our lives and how can we apply it to whatever it is that we do, this is it. This is the change that we're looking for. And at the same time, it's the same thing with companies. So when we talk about social impact in the private sector now, you can see that it's shifting in their communications, in the way they treat with their, the management, with the employees, but also with actual products. Companies now are becoming more socially aware. They're realizing the value of shared impacts, because consumers are now much more aware than ever. Consumers are conscious. They choose a product for what it has to offer, not just they don't buy just the product that the company is providing, but they also buy the value of the product. So if they know that what the company stands for and how they treat their people and how they treat their customers, their marketing campaigns, all of that really plays a huge impact. And you can see it on the big players, but also on the small, medium-sized companies. It's all shifting towards the shared value and really putting together the profit for people and planet. So opportunities like this that you're taking on, and I'm happy also to see that many of you want to take on your social innovation projects afterwards. This really makes me happy, and I'm sure we're here to support, and we're happy to see that a lot of great ideas would definitely come from opportunities like this. It's all about enabling and providing the right platform for the youth, and just seeing what kind of innovations we're capable of achieving. It's really about turning the challenges into opportunities coming from the social innovation and turning those challenges basically. But also don't be frustrated that sometimes you can get certain, hit certain walls just because of funding, or just because of lack of opportunities, or lack of being in the right market. So my advice is really connect with people, network, work together. We often sometimes, when I mentor with some accelerator programs, and we see all those amazing startups doing great work, and they're all looking for certain partners, they're all looking for certain resources and so on. And we often sometimes forget that, we need to talk to each other. We can work together, partnerships, join forces. You don't have to do everything by yourself, but really by combining our efforts, combining the resources that we have, the skills, the expertise, it really can get us far. It's that communal approach that we can all have towards one goal, which is towards our, enhancing and improving our society. So, it's one thing to see, like, with the 2030 goals, and we talk about the 2030 agenda of how can we achieve them, and we see them as separate goals and with KPIs and with indicators that we can hit and we can target, but also don't be afraid to be creative in approaching the Sustainable Development Goals. We talk about content creation, we talk about advocating for the goals through creative ways. We just launched an SDG art exhibit, which we commissioned artists to produce art pieces for Expo 2020 on each of the Sustainable Development Goals. And this is one way of really engaging with the community on what are the Sustainable Development Goals in a way that is more creative, in a way that is more relatable also for certain types of audiences. So these are just some examples also to show you how we can take part in the agenda of 2030 with whatever skills we have. So whatever things that we think we have good experience in, or we're passionate about, how can we combine that into making a better world? So combining your passion with what is it that you're good at? How can you make money? But also, what does the world need? So for me, it's really been looking back, at my career path. It has always been truly aligned with everything that I believe in, everything that I ever wanted. But I also wouldn't say that it has been clear since day one. It's one thing I would tell myself, 10 years ago or 11 years ago, or if I were in your shoes, and I would tell this to you now, is don't worry. Everything will align, everything will open up for you, the right opportunities will come. Just don't worry, believe in yourself, go after everything that you truly believe in. Don't question and don't doubt yourself. If you're doing something really out of passion and from your heart, and you're actually doing it to help others, in whatever it is that you're doing, the right doors will open for you, and you will be connected with the right people that will always also give you the right opportunities. So this is it from my side. I would really love to hear all your questions and anything that you'd like to share and anything you'd like to know more about me. And thank you so much again for Muna and for having me here. It has really been a pleasure all these years knowing, and and I also know that Muna has always been passionate about bringing the social change and working and providing such opportunities for the youth, because we really need it, and especially young women and youth in the Arab region, we just need the right platforms. We have great potential, we have great talents, we have great minds, just like yourselves, and with the right platform that we can provide, I mean, this is it. This is your time. Your youth are heard now more than ever, because we have all those channels and everyone is looking at what the youth are capable of achieving, and we are seeing young change makers, and this is the future of our region, of our country, and basically just bringing all those potentials and just taking it, unleash it to the world. So thank you once again, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sara, so much. I really love everything you said, and it like, this is why honestly we invited you to be here. I knew that you will be such an inspiration to the youth, and yes, your career journey and your personal journey, I hope it resonates with a lot of our youth, and hopefully gives them good ideas on how they can really follow into your footsteps and the footsteps of people who have been able to align their passion and career together to make a change in the world. So thank you again, guys. I would really like you to, if you have any questions for Sara, write them in the chat. And if we have some time after Nadine's talk, maybe we can address a few questions live. Now I would really like to introduce our second guest speaker, who is Nadine Khaouli. I also had the pleasure of knowing Nadine around 3 years back when we first started with the Youth Leadership Program. It was Youth Leadership Program number 5 in Lebanon. Luckily after then, Nadine directly joined UNDP Lebanon. And she's not only part of that, but she's much more inspiring. So basically, Nadine is a 25-year-old Lebanese community activist, youth delegate at UNDP Lebanon and AYC in Abu Dhabi, the first Arab young leader at Generation 17, and the co-founder of Kafe Be Kafak, which is an independent youth organization to help people in need in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the 2020 Beirut Port explosion, and the huge economic crisis that Lebanon is facing. Through these roles, Nadine is taking her advocacy global, being invited as an inspirational guest speaker to high-level events to elevate the Lebanese voices and bring essential attention to issues that her people are suffering from. In addition, Nadine is leading on different workshops and training for young people around the world aligned with the global goals or Agenda 2030 and human-centered approach along with the UNDP team. Her lifelong mission is to support youth, elevate their voices and poverty, and bring essential dignity to every person in Lebanon. Thank you so much, Nadine, for being here with us, and the floor is yours.
Uh, Thank you, Mona, for the introduction. Good morning, Shabab Lab innovators. Good morning, Sara, Mona, Yasmin, and all the Shabab Lab team. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with you here today. Sara, wow, thanks for your words. I'm really inspired by your story and the career path. And as you said, that the youth now are heard more than ever, and our mission is to alleviate their voices more and more, not only on national and regional levels, but also on global levels. To all the young attendees, congratulations. By participating in innovation programs like Shabab Lab, you're on the right track to become the best version of yourself, the best version of a young leader, innovator, and community builder. Today, I want to deliver a message of empowerment, and I hope it will resonate with you. Well, I know how hard are the challenges we are facing from the political and economic instabilities, and I know how the COVID-19 pandemic is hitting us hard until today when it comes to social networking, education, communication, and so on. But look at you being passionate and committed towards building a better future for yourself and for your community. Young people like you are at the center of achieving the global goals, which are the world's to-do list for the people and planet, the answer to our greatest challenges. And here we should all work on empowering and supporting you during the decade of action by creating safe spaces and platforms, as Sarah said, for everyone to know more about the SDGs, your roles as change makers in the community, and what advocacy plan you can adopt from now on. But most importantly, to be on the right track to shape your skills and future, you should invest your time in developing your capacities further, even during the earlier stages of your life. Know what you love, know what you are passionate about, frame your goals, be proactive, put first things first, and know what mission you want to accomplish in your life. For example, through the roles I'm leading, my mission is to live in integrity and make a difference in people's life by bringing them essential dignity. How am I fulfilling this mission? By volunteering in my community, educating myself, inspiring young people, supporting and empowering them in their journey. Whenever you frame and shape your mission, you will find yourself working hard towards accomplishing your dreams and aspirations. Also, when you put your passion and commitment to your work, either at school or outside, or by participating in such programs, your hard work will pay off. Passion brings true happiness, high level of excitement, and anticipation for the task at hand. Honestly, as I say, I usually say that you are our next generation of young leaders. That's why do not underestimate your potential and capabilities. Be effective, efficient, and change agent in your surrounding, and make sure to spread your positive vibes all around. Uh, Thanks, Mona and Yasmin, for the invitation. Please enjoy your day, and congratulations and again on being SDG advocates. I'm honestly very happy to see that the young people now, even at schools, are being more and more aware of the Agenda 2030 of the SDGs and are acting like true leaders and change makers in their communities. And honestly, I see that the COVID-19 pandemic gave us a chance to know more that we can do and implement many activities and implement many programs online in order to reach more and more people all around. And it's nice to see, and thanks to Mona for establishing this platform. It's nice to see now that we are targeting school students at schools, and we are spreading the word around about the SDGs like for the younger generations. So thank you, Mona, for taking the initiatives also to involve the students, and I'm really happy to see what other collaborations we can do together in order to spread more and more a word about the SDGs during this decade of action. Thank you a lot. I know that my message was short, but I wanted to resonate with you, and I hope it will. And maybe we can open the floor for questions and answers. Yeah, over to you,
Yes,
Mona.
before we do that, Nadine, I mean, of course, your speech was very inspiring, but I want to touch more upon your personal experience. And for me, something that is really interesting is the Generation 17. Can you tell us more about this? How did it happen? You know, how do you feel being like the only one from the Arab world being part of Generation 17? Like, it's really great. And just it would be nice to share this with us.
Yes, of course, أكيد Mona. Okay, let me tell you a story about myself. So I started young, honestly. يعني, as Sarah said, we started at school. I started to be like an advocate for change. I participated in this community activities we used to do at school and so on. And I knew that I am part of social change in my community, and I want to do a positive impact for my community. So I participated in the MUN. I knew more about the UN and the Agenda 2030 and so on. But of course, honestly, there wasn't much awareness about the global goals and SDGs back then. Maybe 9 years ago. Then I knew that I want to do something for my community. That's why I participated in the youth leadership program with UNDP Lebanon, where I knew more and more about the global goals and about the SDGs. And ever since then, I am an SDG advocate, and I raise awareness more and more about the SDGs. So my activities got the attention of the UNDP Lebanon, and they hired me first at a United Nations volunteer for youth support. So I volunteered with the United Nations for around 9 months before being selected as a youth development delegate, or in Arabic, it's called مبعوث الشباب العربي في لبنان. It is a partnership between UNDP and between the Arab Youth Center in Abu Dhabi. So I wear those two hats of UNDP and AYC. And thankfully, I've been selected for the second year in a row as a delegate because of all the hard work and all the commitment I showed for UNDP and AYC and for young people like you. So Mona, because of my maybe passion to social change, because of everything I'm doing for my community, I established Kafe Be Kafak. Kafe Be Kafak is youth-led initiative, independent youth-led initiative to support and help families in need all over Lebanon as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic and Beirut explosion. And since then, we established Kafe Be Kafak back in April 2020. And since then, we supported more than 15,000 individuals all over Lebanon. And we mobilized more than 100 volunteers also all over Lebanon. So all these activities and the awareness about the SDGs, the community involvement, and the support for youth, they nominated me to be part of the Generation 17, which is a global partnership between Samsung and the UNDP headquarters in New York. And I'm really very thankful for being chosen as the first Arab young leader, because I wanted to alleviate the voices of the Lebanese people. I wanted to do something for my country, especially that we've been living in uncertainties ever since maybe 2018 or 2019. But I wanted this to be like a part of my journey, to alleviate the Lebanese voices, to let the world know that Lebanon is not a small country in the Middle East, but we have talents, we have many creative minds, we have many young and positive vibes all around. So yeah, this partnership is really giving me the opportunity to alleviate my voices in high-level meetings like the White House meetings, ECOSOC 2020, and it's giving me the chance to let the world know that Lebanon is not a country facing economic and political instabilities only, but Lebanon is maybe how can I say it, is suffering from really, like, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to say anything about the government and so on, but like Lebanon is facing severe challenges. However, the young people like us are leading the change and are doing something for the society. So yes, and of course, through this initiative, I'm using technology to alleviate my voice, the Samsung devices, and we are working also on amplifying the voices of the youth through such initiative. So this is like a short story about my participation with the Generation 17 and being a youth development delegate at UNDP Lebanon, and most importantly, being Kafe Be Kafak co-founder, because Kafe Be Kafak is my happy place where I can see that I'm really doing an impact for the people, and I'm really like doing something for my community. So yeah, Mona, over.
Thank you so much. It's really inspiring, and we're very proud of you, Nadine. And I invite everyone to follow you and Sara on LinkedIn. If you can just maybe keep your LinkedIn credentials in the chat, because guys, I mean, I believe that by following role models, we can also work in order to achieve what we desire. So for all the youth with us today, always make sure to follow inspiring role models, people you want to be like, and this will definitely help you. As Sara said, like it will make things easier and make the journey flow smoother to you. You don't like, it's just part of how to make the your journey easier. And now I would really like to, so I'm gonna add Sara on the spotlight. I would really like to address a few questions that came in the chat. So maybe it's one for both, because it's about being an inspiring woman in this like social impact space. Any sacrifices, Nadine or Sara, that you had to do throughout the journey?
Yes, thank you, Amma, for the question. First of all, Nadine, it's such a, proud moment for us all to have such an amazing young woman leader representing Lebanese around the world. I always see your name and your profile in so many different programs, and it really makes my heart grow bigger. We're connected, but I'm always happy also to follow you and to know more about your great work. Emma, thank you so much for the question. Well, everything can come sometimes at a sacrifice, but I also believe that whatever you're sacrificing, you can always, as Mona was saying, every challenge can be turned into an opportunity. In my case, maybe the biggest sacrifice would be leaving Lebanon to really go for the career opportunities that I was able to get. But nevertheless, I'm truly grateful for that because it enabled me to get wider experience. And from that, I always try to give back to Lebanon. So I didn't truly leave Lebanon. And by always, contributing my time, my expertise, mentoring with the youth, connecting with like-minded people, like when I was saying, mobilizing and having, the people that are in Lebanon work together. So utilizing my network, but also working on empowering the young entrepreneurs, the young leaders, and different programs with Impact Lebanon, with Bloom, with, Microsoft for Startups, even with different UN organizations. So that's always, important. How do we give back our time? How do we give back our expertise to really inspire others, to help them grow? And I wouldn't have been able, in my case, to be to have such experience, maybe to give back if I didn't leave Lebanon, just because it just happened for me. But it also doesn't mean that this is the only choice. So just everything that you do, do it because it makes sense to you, because you believe in it, and always turn it into an opportunity of how can you actually make the most out of it. So thank you for the question.
Nadine?
If I may add, yes, something to what Sara said. Thank you so much, Sara. I honestly would like also to get in touch more and more with Heike, get to know you, and maybe collaborate on something together. Emma, thank you so much for your question. Actually, I will be Heike, very honest. I will tell you something. Over the past 2 years of my career life, I sacrificed a lot of things. My time, my time with my family, with my friends, and so on. But I reached a stage where I think that no, we should not sacrifice anything. Like it's the life has taken many paths. Maybe your career is something very important for you. The things you are doing for your community are very important for you, but also your personal life, your mental health, your physical health, and so on are so important. I reached a stage where all my friends left Lebanon. They are now outside, operating from outside. Maybe they are, as Sarah said, serve their country, but they left. So whenever I want to talk to someone, I can't find them. They left. Whenever I want to hang out or see someone I love and I like, really very inspired by them, they left. So this maybe put me at a stage where I see that Nadine, you have to do some balances in your life. Like you should have pay attention to yourself, to your friends, to your family members, and maybe I should have spent more time with them. So I would say don't sacrifice anything. Just invest your time in developing yourself and developing your relationships with the people and getting inspired more and more from the people you meet on daily basis. COVID-19 pandemic honestly switched everything of all the networking, the social networking, the communication that we used to have, and so on. But at a stage, we have to get back to normal, and we have to reconnect with the people, with our network, and so on. So focus on yourself, on your mental health, your physical health, but also on your relationships and your career. So yeah, start young, Emma. Yes, over, Emma.
Thank you so much. So there's a question from Sabine, also to Sara. You mentioned something about art exhibitions and SDGs, and she's asking like if someone from our youth is interested really to advocate for SDGs through art, do you have any specific advice for them on that?
Yes, thank you, Sabine. I mean, I'm very happy that you addressed this question, because we always look at innovation, we look at creativity, and how can we advocate for change through creative, means. And our when we look at arts and filmmakers and content creators, they have huge impact. And they utilize their voice and their platforms in the right way, we can really send out the right messages across and raise the awareness and advocate for change. So this is something that we're trying also to shed light more on, because we're not always talking about, as I said, when you talk about social change and sustainable development goals, we're not always looking at the private sector or the government or the young leaders or the entrepreneurs or in the science, engineering, and so on. They also want to involve the artists and the content creators and the creators, basically. So I used to say that we need an 18th goal, which is content creation for the goals. And I think that is very, very important. One thing I would also ask you to consider whether it's how are you, what kind of medium you're utilizing for the SDGs, what kind of message you're sending across. Is it just for the awareness of the goals, or is it taking one message and one theme or one goal and going for it? Are you working on women empowerment, for example? Are you working on inclusivity, working on building sustainable cities, and then utilizing this arts? Because choosing a focus is also very important, and that would be your access, basically your entry point, to find the right partners, and the right people that would be interested in supporting such projects. The other thing I would also say that now with the United Nations, within Expo, we're also launching, hopefully soon, an online campaign to reach out to all the creatives in the Arab world to submit their creative projects for the goals. So I would also say, follow UN @_UAE, and hopefully we'll be posting about it soon. And it's just one way of featuring artists and giving them the recognition of how are they utilizing their own artistic skills to really bring about social change. Thank you.
That's amazing. Actually, this is great. Like I always, learn a few things every time we have guest speakers, and I think that maybe like for us, we're always focusing on technology, but creativity, as you mentioned, Sarah, comes in so many different ways. So honestly, I would like to do something related to that, like SDGs and art. So I don't know, maybe we can do something. So guys, if you're interested, let us know, and hopefully we can do something about that. It's really interesting. So I'm not sure if Nadine is still here.
Yes, but
okay.
because there's
problem.
no electricity, so my laptop will be off soon. So I'm joining from my phone.
Okay, sorry about that. So basically, there's another question that's asking about you being a powerful woman, and if you have ever doubted your capacities, like, you know, before all the achievements, basically.
Yes, thank you for the question. Honestly, it's in the right place. Yani, yes, I always doubt my capacities. I know this is something wrong, but I always doubt myself, and if I'm doing the things right, and if I'm really doing an impact for the community, and I'm making maybe my parents proud, and I'm making myself, most importantly, proud. But you know what? I think that throughout the journey of me being a community builder and being a young leader, I learned that the most important thing is to have confidence in what I'm doing. Yani, I gained so much self-confidence throughout my journey, and I knew that whenever I fail or whenever I did something wrong or so on, I have to go back, educate myself more, learn more about the things I maybe did wrong and so on. So I'm doubting my capacities every day. However, I honestly, I'm being very honest with you. I wanted to do a change for myself, and I wanted to see the best version of myself. So I'm currently, for example, being involved in many programs to learn more and more about the SDGs, to learn more and more about the mental health, about how someone can be like a really young leader in their communities. And I also started to read books about being effective people in our lives. So like everyone I'm sure is doubting their capacities, but at some point we have to have this confidence in ourselves. Whenever you finish a meeting and someone says that it was inspiring and bravo and good luck, this gives us some positive energy. That's why if you ever doubted your capacities, just keep in mind that you can go again and learn more and more about the stuff you were doubting and so on. So yeah.
Thank you, Nadine. Sarah, do you want to add anything on that?
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with Nadine 100%. She couldn't have said it better. It's really taking care of your mental health and making sure, you know, that you believe in yourself. Don't let the doubt and people, you know, to let you down. I also think that mentorship and talking to people that have, you know, that have been through the journey sometimes really helps. Don't take it too hard. Don't feel like because they went through it, you have to go through it. It's not always the case, but sometimes you can be inspired by other people's stories and kind of also realize that you got this. You know, I think the biggest scam I had of realization when I was a kid, thinking that old people know everything and they're so experienced and they got life figured out. But then the older you grow, you realize that's not the case, and everyone's really learning as they go. You can never know everything. And the more you're open, you have this open growth mindset to learn, to go for experiences, to talk to people, and realizing that we don't know everything. And sometimes we need to unlearn certain things is very, very important, because that just opens up the doors to so many possibilities, to so many opportunities. I'll just give also another maybe quick example of recently I did a training program with UN Women within women, peace and security and peace building, but we were trained on mediation and conflict resolution through mediation. And this has been completely new to me because I didn't have a law background or a law degree, but going through the training program was really eye-opening. We were 70 young Arab women in this program, learning about such a new added skill that was really powerful to see what are the alternative ways and why is this very important to achieve peace building in the region. And now we're looking at how can I utilize the skill. For example, I'm not going to do a career shift, of course, and get into this path, but utilizing my network and my experience now, we're actually working with the Arab Mediation Center on raising awareness about mediation and how can we advocate for such a skill to really reach the people that need it the most in developing countries and communities with like refugee women and women that are victims of violence and so on. So, for example, I would have never thought of learning or going after, but it's always an added skills and gives you more confidence. Sometimes these things are really, really important. But again, we cannot stress this enough. With everything that we've been through with the COVID and all the challenges that Lebanon is going through, your mental health is a priority, and making sure that this balance of not worrying too much about the future, really living in the now, doing everything you're capable of doing, and this already being in such a program is a huge achievement. Congratulate yourself, give yourself the credit, give yourself, the appreciation that you need, and just don't worry, everything will be figured out. Thank you.
Thank you, Sara. It's always so inspiring to hear you and the examples. Roy is asking, how can he apply for the UN if he's not 18? I hope you don't want to apply for a job, Roy, because I don't think you can be eligible.
It's a question for me, right? I didn't hear you.
So Roy was asking in the chat, how can he apply for the UN if he's not 18 yet? I'm not sure if he's talking about a job in the UN or a program in the UN, but I mean, I don't think he's eligible to apply if he's under 18, right?
Yes, so unfortunately you have to be 18, but you can always have an eye on the UNV platform, the United Nations Volunteers Program, and hopefully, soon when you when you reach the 18, you can apply and you can become a volunteer. But since you're not 18 yet, that also gives you enough time to have the skills and such training and learning opportunities to build a profile for being let's say not just a volunteer, but hopefully even getting chances of getting trainings and internship programs and hopefully getting a job if you're interested in career path at the UN. So now is the time to really focus on yourself, on building your skills, getting the right building your profile, I would say, and just having that focused portfolio so that hopefully when you're 18 you just get the right opportunities. And of course I can also again, network is very important.
So there's a lot of time to plan, which is really good, Roy. So you have time to plan. So guys, I really hope we can all open our cameras to take a group photo.
Mona, if I
yes,
may add one point to what Sara said also. Sara, you said it all, but I also would like to encourage you to also participate in the programs that the UN agencies do. Such as UNICEF, because they usually do programs for under 18. Be involved in such programs, because whenever you put on your CV that you was part of such programs, it will open doors for you. It will open opportunities. So get involved in such programs. Participate in programs like Shabab Lab and in other innovation programs. If you want, send me a direct message. I can recommend you programs to be involved in, to shape your skills as Sara said, and to help you shape your also personality and so on. So yeah, over.
Thank you so much, Nadine. Yes, this is valuable information, and definitely there are, yes, if you UN agencies that do programs, maybe similar or a bit different from Shabab Lab to teenagers or maybe even younger. So the whole idea is to keep your eyes open, guys, and actively searching for such opportunities. So now if we can all open our cameras kindly in order to have a group photo with our guests before I know they may need to leave shortly. We always like to have like even if online to have these group photos. And my son decided to come also. Oh, Asim, will you take the photo?
ولا أهدم ابنك يا منى.
يلا I will take it. Yeah, are you guys ready? يلا ما تستحوا افتحوا الكاميرات.
So maybe you can also use your reaction.
مثل الحال.
يلا بعد 1 second لأنه بيفتحوا يسكروا. يلا حاخدها هلا. اوكي اوكي مش الحال.
Great.
Thank you so much. And now, I mean, if our guests would like to stick a bit longer, we're gonna move to the part where we talk more about our winners. But before we do that, I want to show you a documentary by one of our young change makers today.
Mona, you are muted.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
I've never thought of doing this, going to Karantina, to avoid the region where you don't want your kids to go. But right now, especially after the blast, the situation has reached unbearable heights. Karantina residents have been entrenched in a highly polluted environment and can't get out of their houses without getting stunted with mountains of garbage and smoke. Who to blame for what seems to be far from a simply well-routed civilization, and to what extent did the burdens of the civil war carry themselves? Come with me on this journey.
أيام الحملة المصرية على لبنان لما احتلوا المصريين أيام الدولة العثمانية، جرب محمد علي باشا يحتل سوريا ولبنان واحتلهم، فكان في تحالف بينه وبين فرنسا ضد الدولة العثمانية والإنجليز. كانوا الفرنسويين معه خبر فرنسوية، فعملوا مستشفى الكارانتينا بالفرنساوي جارانتيه او شيء يعني. فجأة صارت المجزرة، هجرنا على الغربية ب 93 رجعنا. بأيام اول شيء مثلا صحيح مثلا كان في عالم كثير ايه، بس ما كان معمل نفايات كان مشينوا الفرنسوية، كان فرنساوي هيدا، كان انظف من هيك يعني. هلا عم يعملنا روايح وسرطان و100 قصة سكومي، هلا مسكرينه بس بالصيف بس ينفسوا الدخون ما فيك تعيش، بتطلع على الاشرفيه الريحه. انه ناويين يعملوا محرقه هون بلديه بيروت، وهي المحرقه بتعمل لنا مرض السرطان، من هون للدوره بتوصل مرض السرطان. انا كنت ضد هذا المشروع.
Cancer cases have been increasingly high among Karantina residents. It was therefore a blessing to know that institutions such as CCCL, who treat cancer patients, are working hard not only to provide adequate treatments, but also to bring sustainable change.
Extreme weather and climate changes is the cause for 1 in 5 premature death globally. Based on this research, the CCCL saw an opportunity to act to change the perception of their own employees and the operation of the center. So they're committed to the SDGs, especially SDG 13, in order to reduce or contribute to reduce the pollution in Lebanon and globally.
Now back to Karantina. We had the chance to meet its ex-mayor and to discuss with him the causes he is advocating for.
قبل كانت جنة قبل الحرب، يعني جنة أنا بقصد فيه البحر وهيك كان البحر لنا وننزل على البحر وهيك. اجت الحرب خربت الدنيا وبلشنا خرب. بلشت الحرب انطلقت من عنا هي من هون من الكارنتينا اول حرب. ف من وقتها وعم نرجع لورا، وخاصة بيئيا. عم تقولوا لي بيئيا رجعنا كثير لورا. صارت كل الزبالة بلبنان تنزلت بالكارنتينا. وهلا اخر موجة كانت بدهم يعملوا محرقة بالكارنتينا، وكنت انا اول واحد ضدها، وكان اكيد معي غير ناس يعني. وعملنا مؤتمر صحفي وعملنا كمان مقابلات على التلفزيونات كرمال المحرقة، ونحن ضدها وبعدنا ضدها لهلا يعني. الحل يشوفوا غير حل، حدا يتحمل غيرنا. صرنا 50 سنة نحن متحملين بالمدور.
Lack of safety recommendations and their implementation is actually the cause of this disaster. The safety recommendations are international and they're expected of us. And so the lack of these recommendations and the lack of their implementation has been at the core of this problem. And it actually connects to the lack of accountability at the part of the government and negligence, if I might say. As for the whole issue of how did we interfere as Khadat Beirut, we collected environmental samples from some of the areas affected by the blast. We assessed the level of or the presence of asbestos in the rubble, and we also assessed the level of dust, what we refer to as particulate matter, in the air. And what we found was the following. We found really alarming findings with the dust in the air. So it's really quite concerning. When we came to the asbestos, what we found was not that alarming, but we have to be cautious.
Now that we have discussed the causes behind this environmental decline, let us get to dive deep into its consequences on the health sector.
The chronic diseases that are most common, especially in our population, like diabetes, hypertension, COPD. We have high rate of smoking in Lebanon, especially argile, and it's a big problem. Most important challenge is the shortage of medication. We have a very deep shortage in medications, especially the chronic medications.
Karantina is an area which is very close to the blast, the Beirut blast, and it is an area where people are extremely marginalized. It is an area that has lots of potentials. In Khadat Beirut, we have a community health initiative where we are trying to respond to people's needs. And as part of this initiative, we are providing comprehensive, evidence-based primary healthcare services to the people who are living in quarantine. We are advocating for a high-performing, evidence-based, comprehensive, universal healthcare system in Lebanon.
So since the beginning of this initiative, a lot has changed, especially when it comes to the patient care. Many patients اكتشفنا انه they have chronic diseases that they didn't ما كانوا عارفين فيهم من قبل لأنه ما كانوا عم يشوفوا their primary health care physician.
If I had the chance to go back in time and change my career, I would change it. I would definitely change it. In 2021, after everything we've been through in the medical field, from COVID to the explosion and everything, it's a lot. It's a lot. We're young, we're kids, practically kids and young adults. We have a lot to discover. فالمشاكل اللي بنعيشها نحن كشخص من جوا مش مفروض نعيشها مع كل شيء عم بيصير برا. I would definitely choose something that's easier. And عن جد it's been a lot for the health sector. Worst case scenario. You don't want to hear it, صراحة. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it.
ما تسافروا لك لمين ما نتركه؟ لمين رايك تركينه؟ لمين؟ لك ما هيدي أرضنا، أرض جدودنا وأرض بيك وأرض ستك وأرض جدك وأرض ولادك بكرة. أنا رايحة بس ولادي باقيين، ولاده باقيين. أنتوا الدم الجديد، ازحكوا تيأسوا، هاي اليأس شيلوه من راسكم.
So thank you so much, Emma and her team for putting this documentary together. As you could see, Emma is focusing on the Karantina area. And this is highly recommended because, again, guys, we always need to start small and specific. And then later on, we can expand and spread more awareness. So thank you, Emma, for this. And would you like maybe to say a few words about the rationale behind this work? Like, why are you doing this documentary and where do you intend to show it, basically?
Thank you so much for this. I mean, it really means a lot to have people like you who empower us and see us in Lebanon. Thank you for everything that you have done until now. So this documentary is actually the first part of our launching event for the social startup, which is Beirut. I'm going to leave the link in the chat. And so in Beirut, really want to envision what would be the perfect healthcare system in Lebanon. And we are therefore focusing on a region at a time. So what we are doing, our program that we're going to launch soon enough, we want to have a book written down, a collectively written book by our participants to detail how we envision specifically the healthcare system of Karantina and how we want to change it, because we need to have that vision. It all started when I did the initiative after the blast. It gave me so much hope and so much willingness, so much really kind of, I would say it really made me realize how important it is to be part of the community change maker force. And I really want to give that opportunity to other people like you. So thank you so much for featuring this documentary, and I'll keep you up to date about the program on the group chat.
What I also really like, Sara, is that Emma, during her What for Change program, she found a way to actually come up with a solution that integrates with her existing initiative, which is Beirut. So I was really glad to know that she didn't just, create something new, but found a way to integrate it. And I always ask youth participants, I know that there are a lot of interesting programs, a lot of attractive initiatives, and a lot of projects you want to work on, but try to integrate these under like one umbrella. Otherwise, it will be too difficult to pursue everything at once. Because we're human at the end of the day. So great job, Emma. Now I really want to talk a bit more about the awards. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for the awards, and I will be joined by Wasim as well, who will explain to us a little bit about each of the projects that will be mentioned. So as always, we don't just award like the top teams who scored the best in terms of judging criteria. And again, I want to remind everyone that judging is usually somehow subjective. So don't take it personal if you don't end up being one of the winners. You're all winners to us, especially that you have learned something new. You have seen that the challenges could be turned into opportunities and so on. So this is for us the biggest win. So always remember that, but because there's a competition and we promised you to announce the results, we have to do that. So I will also share my screen and start with sharing the awards, and Wasim will be telling you more about each team and what they did basically. All right, so we're gonna start with the special awards. The best pitch goes to... Okay, 1 second, I need to share again. So the best pitch goes to Crystal Waters, Ren Qais, Reem Qtaish, Serene Zouahed. Well done, guys.
Now, a little bit of information about Team Crystal Waters.
Oh my God, thank you.
Team Crystal Waters is an online community that spreads awareness and organizes volunteering campaigns to clean up the river. Unlike other informative websites, Crystal Waters aims at activating real volunteering trips along the riverbanks to revive this water source and make it crystal clear. It also sheds light on eco-responsibility. Again, congratulations, guys.
Congratulations for Crystal Waters on delivering
Thank
the
you
Best
so
Pitch
much.
Award. Now the Most Creative Idea Award. It goes to Meet and Heal, Amma Sulaiman, Hamza Qabbani, and Ibrahim Tawaja. Well done, guys.
Thank you so much.
Now, about Meet and Heal, it's a community website that will connect them with elderly, that will connect young consumers, young tobacco consumers with elderly ex-tobacco consumers coming from diverse backgrounds on a weekly basis to provide them with extensive knowledge on the throwbacks of smoking and guide them through the day-to-day struggles. Unlike e-cigarettes and other personal counseling methods, Meet and Heal makes the experience much more personal and presents a win-win situation. Now, again, congratulations, guys.
Well done, guys. And now we're moving to the top 3 awards. So the top 3 places in the program as a whole. And the 3rd place award goes to Ryan Green, Yasmin Hadir, Roy Abirad, Nurhan Hassani, and Ayat Nassar. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you a lot.
Now, Ryan Green is a web guide that helps business holders go green by several easy, affordable techniques. Unlike other informative websites, Ryan Green uses a simple, short, and entertaining approach to help build green businesses. Again, congratulations. Well done.
Well done, guys. Now we're gonna move to the 2nd place. And they are Retoxy. Ali Matut, Asyal Gurush, Elena Haber, and Angela Said.
Thank you so much.
Now, about Retoxy. Retoxy is a paper recycling center that sells recycled notebooks. Unlike other paper recycling centers that rely on machines, Retoxy collects paper wastes from schools and transforms them into notebooks at home and aims to expand its products, and it donates all profit to reforestation charities.
Well done, guys, and we can see your posts online, and we will be sharing them as well. So we also invite everyone to follow our like young social enterprises, let's call them, Ryan Green, Retoxy, Beirut, Meet and Heal, Crystal Waters, and our 1st place winner as well, who are Trashin, Raghid Abu Saad, Hassan Fnesh, Yasmina Mansour, and Sara Wahbe. Well done, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. I really can't believe it.
Thank you so much.
Now, Trashin is an e-commerce platform that sells zero-waste clothes and helps raise awareness of sustainable fashion. Unlike other sustainable brands that use compostable material, Trashin uses clothes scraps to make new crafty pieces and rewards the people donating the scraps by giving them zero-waste bags that are also used to reduce plastic waste. Again, congratulations. Well done.
Well done and congratulations. And now, as you remember, we had 2 special awards as well for individuals and not for teams, and we'll also announce them today. These 2 individual awards, they will get $50 in cash each. Okay, make sure to contact us in order to come and get your award. So the TikTok and Reels challenge winner is, and for us it was easy. It was really easy, and I hope he knows himself. It's Roy Avirad. Well done, Roy. Do you want to say a few words about your TikTok videos?
Actually, yes. I want to start by saying thank you for this opportunity, for this best summer ever I got. I want to say thank you for the speakers and all the participants. I want to thank Nadine and Sara for the best speeches ever. Actually, Nadine is one of my best idols. Maybe she doesn't know me, but I used to ask her in my DMs and take her advice about anything or what I want to do. And about Shabab Lab, as I said already, it made my summer the best. And I really like this TikTok and Reels challenge because I had a low self-esteem, but actually I said okay, it doesn't matter. Share what you know, share what I شو تعلمت in Shabab Lab, and get a high self-esteem. It doesn't matter who bully you or I don't know. And now in Lebanon and the society, they aren't that much educated. So we need someone and we need a platform to help them, such as Shabab Lab. And I was honored to be part of this, and thank you so much.
And I tell you did a really nice job, Roy, with your videos. They were like short, fun, interesting, and educational at the same time. And this is exactly what we wanted. So well done again, and congratulations. We are really happy to hear your testimonial about the program and your experience. And now there's another award. There were supposed to be two TikTok and Reels winners, but we didn't have enough participations, I would say. So the second award was changed to the Most Active Young Citizen Award, and that was based on the participation in the programs, the engagement outside the program with us as the team in order to make the idea better, and seeking mentorship opportunities, as well as having a real community-based project based on the project. So this goes to Amma Sulaiman. Congratulations, Amma. You'll also get $50 in cash from Shabab Lab. Do you have a few words?
I mean, I just want to say that today was really amazing. I want to say that, people like you are still putting it out there. Give us so much, because I'm going out of this conference and I'm thinking about how empowered I am from this. So I don't know if you know about this, but today's young people not have a lot of these where it's great when you're trying to change. Some people are trainers. So thank you so much for empowering us after this conference to work a lot, because you have empowered me to do so. So thank you.
Thank you, Amma, and we are really glad to hear that you're being empowered. This is what we exactly want to do, and we want you to stay tuned to our future events as well, because we will always welcome you guys as Shabab Lab alumni in any Shabab Lab events, and we will be doing an event once a month after we launch our Shabab Lab programs for this year, which will be sometime in November. So we will have every month an inspiring session with guest speakers and experts, and we will also be touching upon different concepts and different knowledge areas when it comes to social innovation and entrepreneurship and community engagement and youth leadership as well. So well done, guys. Again, we are really, really happy to see you flourish and become the leaders that you are. This brings us really to the end of today's session. I don't know if Sara has a final words before we close.
Yes, sure. I mean, I'm just super proud of everything of you, and I'm also really proud of you, Mona, and the team of what you were able to achieve. I remember Shabab Lab being cooked just as a concept, and to see it really come to life and to impact all the participants that we have today, and to create such projects, it really makes me really proud. And I would love to connect with each one of you. Congratulations once again. You've done an amazing work and learnings, and this is only the beginning. I mean, soon enough, you will be the ones invited to come and speak and share your own story. So I can't wait to see what you will be capable of achieving, and be proud of yourselves, because we really are very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you again, Sara and Nadine, for being with us today. Thank you for all our young change makers and youth leaders for also being here. And again, I thank the team of Shabab Lab and our guest jury, Nadim Khali, who's with us, Sara Abu Ibrahim, and all the mentors that helped us in the summer edition. We will have another cohort of school students this year starting in November. We expect around 500 for this year, and hopefully it will be increasing exponentially every single year. We will be in Dubai starting next week for Joytex Future Stars. We're very happy to be exhibiting Shabab Lab there. And we will be also a part of Expo and the EdTech Week in December. So we are very excited about next steps for Shabab Lab. But the most important thing is really what our youth think of it and how valuable they found the experience. Thank you again, everyone. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Goodbye, and thank you.